Welcome, Hawk fans. Welcome to another episode of Hawk Talk. I'm your host, Colin Cole. And of course, we got another great episode we're going to bring to you talking about those Nebraska Cornhuskers. Again, of course, I'm host, Colin Cole. But first, I got to introduce my resident guest host, the starter at offensive tackle, two-time All Big Ten, 3-year starter offensive tackle. Let me make sure I make that stipulation. Luxury real estate mogul in Chicago, Illinois. Great outdoorsman. I like that one, dog, because between the bass fishing that you was telling me about, the excursion that you was telling me about, all that good stuff, that great outdoorsman, a part of the 2002 All the Big Ten championship team, Kirk Ferentz's first Big Ten championship team, the one and only Mr. David Porter is joining us today. Thank you, sir, for joining the show, sir.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on. One of these years, you're going to let me introduce you. I can't wait for that to happen.
I'm just a guy, bro. That's all. I'm just a guy. Just here to bring entertainment to the people and talk about Hawkeye football. And specifically, we're going to be talking about those Nebraska Cornhuskers. But first, David, the 2021 Hawkeyes, man. This team has the opportunity to have a 10-win season. Only 9 Hawkeye teams have reached double-digit wins. The 85 Hawks, 87, 91, all under Hayden Fry, and 02, 03, 04, 09, 15, 19, and of course this season, this group has this opportunity, man. What does that mean for Kirk Ferentz, Coach Ferentz, and this squad, man, to be able to have a 10-win season this year?
Yeah, we've been saying it the whole year. It's a special team, and they're proving it. They keep finding a way to win. Amidst all of the adversity, they still keep finding a way to win. Right now, we're sitting at 9-2 for the year, 6-2 in the conference, and this team, we're not perfect. We don't have everything put together yet, but we keep finding a way to win. It says a lot for the team and the character that they have, that they're facing the adversity, they're finding ways to overcome it, and they keep moving forward. As far as the coaching staff and all the stuff that they've been through over the past year, 2 years or so, it just speaks to how they have been able to deal with things. I'm going to call it workmanlike fashion, and just keep moving forward with things. And I think Kirk says it a lot, next man up. They have that next man up mentality. So that's a really big thing. It's been a staple for Iowa for years. And when you and I were there, that's how it was for us. Next man up. You get your opportunity, to take advantage of it. Alex Padilla did the same thing. When he got his opportunity, he took advantage of it. And he was the next man up. He stepped up and he did well. I'm looking for this team to continue to do that. We have another challenge with Nebraska. So I think that's going to be it's just going to be another challenge for us to go out there and prove it again, that we're here. We're going to come there. We're going to be ready to play, and we have our lunch bell. Let's go to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we got to jump into that Cornhusker team and that game. But before we do that, man, we got to talk about these Hawks, man. I mean, this team that jumped on the field this year definitely gave us some highs, some lows. Ranked number 2 in the country at one point, but it was something throughout the season. We definitely touched on a lot of things. One of which was the growth of this offense and the ability for this offense to obviously rely on the offensive line, a very young offensive line, and the growth of the offensive line would have definitely, contributed to the quarterback play as well as just the offense as a whole. I speak about that offensive line because they paved the way for the opportunity for the Hawkeyes to have yet another 1,000-yard rusher this season. Tyrone Woodson is currently sitting at 945 yards on the season with a very good opportunity of being able to get 55-plus yards this upcoming game, which would etch him in stone, man. He's amongst elite names, man. He's actually 10th currently after only having 3 seasons as a Hawkeye. He's currently going to be, he's currently right now 10th all-time rushing in Hawkeye history. So this young man has continued to do great things on the field, man. Tell me about what you think about what you've seen with his maturation and how he's really contributed and, what he's brought to this offense throughout the season.
What Tyler has done is throughout the season, he has just been the steady rock that we've needed. And we have been to the point where we've needed someone to be that rock for us. And no matter what the O-line looks like in front of him, he has just continually gone out there every day, every game. And I'm imagining he does this in practice too. He's gone out there and done his job to the best of his ability. We don't hear about a lot of fumbles from him. You don't hear a lot of griping from him. He's not pointing fingers. And he just goes out there and goes to work. It's a real true Iowa running back. And again, with the offensive line and their maturation, as you see, as they start to gel, his yardage and those big plays that he is capable of, we start to see that. They start to come to fruition. And he has been, for all of us at Hawks on the offense, he's been that stabilizing force for us. We've been going to the march of the beat of his drum. And the O-line, as they've become a more cohesive unit, he's been able to, really show his talents that have always been there. You say he's ranked number 10 currently. We still have another game and then a bowl game to go. This young man is special. He really is. And once we get that offensive line together, we'll be able to show how special he really is.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you 1,000% with that, man. The really crazy thing about this whole thing, man, is the fact that Tyler actually made his first start against the Nebraska Cornhuskers back in 2019, man. He rattled off a 55-yard touchdown in that first start, helping those Hawks get to a 14-3 lead on his way to his first 1,000-yard season. So he is familiar with this Nebraska Cornhusker team. He actually had 27 carries in that game for 132 total yards. So it was a tremendous output for that young man. So what really I want to touch on is how this Nebraska Cornhusker team is really, they're kind of reeling. They have Adrian Martinez, who has been their starting quarterback, I feel like, for 10 years, it feels like to me. But he's a senior now. He's going to miss his last game as a senior, unfortunately for him. But this Cornhusker team, even with a backup quarterback, is a pretty good offense. Probably a little bit better than even our offense. Their scheme is sound. The Cornhuskers average 9.37 yards per attempt passing the ball, and they're actually on pace to shatter the school record of 9.09 set back in 1978. So Iowa has to definitely respond with creating turnovers. Has done a tremendous job in doing so. Their plus 13 turnover margin this season is number one in the country. Let me say that first and foremost. In terms of turnover margin, 21 interceptions lead the country and are within 2 of the program record of 23 set back in '86 and 21 set back in 2000. Well, actually, I'm sorry, 23 set back in '86 as well as tied back in '08. So we're going to have a clash of 2 very strong opponents. Even though Nebraska is going to be lacking their starting quarterback, what do the Hawks have to do to get the job done defensively against this Cornhusker team?
Yeah, like you said, with the Nebraska offense, I mean, they're averaging 460 yards per game. I mean, they're putting on some real numbers up there. Their rushing attack, they're about 185. Their passing yards, they're at 273 yards per game. I mean, those are the averages for the year. They know how to move the ball. Our defense needs to do what they've been doing all year long, right? Make this team one-dimensional. And then when they get in that one-dimensional phase, which hopefully is passing because we take away the rush, then our secondary can do what they've always done this whole year, become that Legion of Boom that we dubbed them early in the season, right? And become those ball hawks, tips and overthrows. I hear you say that a lot. Our defense is very good at creating those situations where they put the offense in a position where they are feeling pressure, and our defensive linemen, our linebackers, get their hands up and they tip the ball, or our secondary tips the ball. And it causes, it goes up in the air, and then we got somebody else that go get it. Or we cause an overthrow because of a pressure from a blitz or a defensive lineman getting in the backfield. Right? Once we start making that offense one-dimensional, we can start to understand what we want to do, right? And make them play our game. We've talked about this a lot. Imposing our will on the other team is the ultimate goal of this. So they become what we need them to be, one-dimensional and playing exactly the way we want them to play, playing our game. So we get our defense doing that, being more cohesive, you know, that's going to be really the tale of the tape for this game. Because even though Nebraska is 3-8, I mean, their last 5 contests, they've lost them all, but they played tough. I mean, against Ohio State, they lost 26-17. Ohio State's really good. They just blew out Michigan State. So this is not like a team that's going to go out there and just lay down for you. That's not how it works in Big Ten football. Every weekend, you got to go out there and prove it. Because these guys they're going to put their hands down in that dirt and say, okay, give me your best shot. And they're going to give you theirs. And this last game of the year for them, you know how it is when you don't have a bowl game. You got nothing to lose. They're going to put everything out there that they have.
Absolutely. I think we'll see all kinds of fake punts and all kinds of throwback screens, all kind of good stuff. Yeah, I'm sure we'll see all that type of stuff. But you're right, man. They've had some pretty tough losses against even last week against Wisconsin. I watched a bunch of that game. They were in it right down to the end. So this is not a team. It's not a group of guys that can't get it done. And then this is going to be their senior day. You know, they're going to be celebrating their seniors, so they're going to want to go out on a good note, obviously, considering they've had a pretty rough go at it. Like you mentioned, you know, they've had some pretty tough losses. I mean, they had a 3-point loss to Michigan, who's ranked number 6 right now. They had a 3-point loss to Michigan State. You know what I'm saying? So this is not a team that is going to lay down whatsoever. You know, you mentioned to the Ohio State game. This group of guys, man, is something to be concerned with. So defensively, how do we combat? I mean, we talked a little bit about, you know, the turnover margins. Right now, Dane Belton leads our team, our unit in interceptions with 5, which is tremendous. That young man has been all over the field and created all kinds of havoc when he's had the opportunity to be on the field at that jack linebacker position, man. But how do this Hawkeye unit shut down a Nebraska unit that's limping into this game, basically, with their backup quarterback. But obviously, they still have the high power offense, you know, with those guys at various positions, man. So how do we continue to keep the 4-game winning streak going and create an opportunity for the best possible bowl moving into the postseason?
Yeah, at that point, I mean, we've been talking about this all season. We have to go out there and start fast. And when we get out there and we start fast and we're playing our game and we're not worried about what the other team is doing, we know what we're going to do and we just go out there and do it. That's when we are playing with everything, right? Mind, body, and spirit. We're out there just flying around and the guys are hitting people and hitting them hard and they keep hitting them and they're where they're supposed to be, right? Technique-wise, they're in their techniques. Their assignment sound. They're playing their cues. They're not trying to do more or trying to play outside of their ability. They're playing to their ability. That's where we should be at this point of the season. That's what we need our defense to do. Continue doing what you're doing. Take one step more. All right, it's a little stuff. And we're talking about taking one step every game, every day, take another step. Let's get a little better every time. We get our defense to do that. We already have a special defense. If they take one more step to getting better. I mean, last game, we scored a touchdown, right? The defense is scoring. We start doing that. We start taking these steps to getting better. With this defense that's so special, they are going to do what they've always done, which is play well, but we need them to start to dominate like they were doing in the beginning of the season, being that dominant defense. That really helps with an offensive line coming along like it is right now. So they can have the time to recover, to get back out there and play. We talk about the O-line being young. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. If we can sustain drives and keep our defense fresh, that allows our defense to come onto the field and attack the way we know they can, to react the way we know they can, right? That is what we really need. Our defense, they're good. not going to say great. I'm going to say they're really, really good. They're very special. They're probably one of the best defenses I've seen at Iowa in a very long time. But we need our offense to step up to allow our defense to be all that they can be on that field with us and for us.
No doubt. You know, it's going to be interesting because this Cornhusker team led by Scott Frost, who obviously is on a hot seat with seasons not going very much their way, coming out on the wrong end of the stick in terms of some of these games, man. But they're going to come out ready to fight. They're going to come out ready to really create the best possible opportunity to end their season on a high note and probably and try to win this game. So, but you know, that's a part of this whole thing. My thing about it, man, especially as I look back on it, Iowa has to play a complete game. All three phases have to show up. Last week, I've been calling for it. I was calling for it and calling for it all season. Charlie Jones to the end zone. I'm so happy for that, man. I'm so happy, especially on senior day, man. I'm so happy for that young man to have had that opportunity and to have taken full advantage and taking the thing to the house. So kudos to that young man. We didn't get the chance to do the post-game show, but kudos to that man. And great job for them. So the Hawks, man, they got to put together a complete game in all three facets. All three phases has to do it. If Alex Padilla can play the way he played against Northwestern on the road a couple of games ago, if the defense can play smothering and get after the quarterback and continue what they've done throughout the season. You know, Seth Benson has been around the ball. Jack Campbell's been around the ball. All these DBs have really made their presence known. Finish out the season the way they've done throughout the high notes of this season, and I think we'll set ourselves up for a pretty strong opportunity in going into the postseason. That being said, David, Friday, 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central Time. We are going to be on the Big Ten Network. What are we favored by? Are we favored by anything? I mean, the prognosticators got us.
We're favored. We're about 56%, 57.6% favorites to win. All right. And you see Nebraska's record. They're 3-8, 1-7 in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
But they have almost a 43% chance of winning. It's because they are not like some kind of like rinky-dink team. This is a good team. Against Purdue, they lost 28-23. Minnesota, they lost 30 to 23. Michigan, like you said, they lost by 3. Ohio State, they lost by 9 points. Wisconsin, they lost by 7. This is a tough opponent. This is a really tough team. So, like the record, throw that out the window. It's the end of the season. We're in the Big Ten season, and this is the seniors' last go-around. They're going to go out there and they're going to give it all they have. A lot of the seniors, they've been there 4 or 5 years. They know what it is. They're going to go out there and give you everything they have. And the coaches, they want to go out on a victory too. Like you said, the head coach, they're on the hot seat. They're going to give it everything that they have. And if we go in there unprepared, we know what's going to happen. Same thing that happens to anybody else that goes out there unprepared.
Mm-hmm.
That W is not guaranteed.
Man, listen, Scott Frost has already fired a couple coaches this season. He's not afraid to pull out every piece of trick that he possibly can to make sure that he does what he can to keep himself in that head coaching position going into the 2022 season. So, like I said, throwbacks, fake pooch punt, onside kicks. Every single opportunity, I'm looking for fake field goals, everything. I'm looking for it all because he's got to pull a rabbit out of his hat to try and win. But again, we're not talking about an offense that cannot move the ball. We're not talking about a team that cannot make plays. I mean, I saw those guys, man. I watched that Wisconsin game last week, and those guys they were in it right up until the end. And it's a pity that Adrian Martinez can't be a part of this game for him being a senior. But he's a ball player, man, and without him, they're going to have to fill in and try to figure things out. So we're going to be excited. 1 o'clock over here on the East Coast. I'm looking forward to it. What did you say?
Don't mind it. He said he's got 13 touchdowns. 13 touchdowns for the season.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big miss. Wow. We're going to need to play a complete game. I know we didn't do the post game, but last game our offense got outscored by both our defense and our the combination of our defense and our special teams. Right? We need a complete game. We have to have that.
Yeah.
Our offense 15 points.
Yeah. We need a complete game, man. We do. It's gonna be telltale, but moving forward, especially for our offense, the way that we've been kind of progressing throughout the season, the way that the offense is kind of built. They hit a low, and there was definitely some struggles there, but it's been sparked. It's definitely been sparked again. So it's gonna come down to can you get off the field on third down? Can you force Nebraska into tough situations? Talking about defensively, and then just moving the ball, man. But other than that, I think that's what we got to look forward to.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
that's what we are.
Logan Smothers, and Heinrich Haberg are the quarterbacks replacing Adrian. I wanted to make sure I put that out there. Oh yeah, I saw Ramir Johnson. That kid he's a beast. Jacques Yant, number 0. That's also another ball player, running back coming out of the backfield for him. So listen, it's not going to be easy by any means, but this group that we got going into Lincoln on Friday, fresh off of Thanksgiving, should be a great opportunity to finish out the season with 10 wins, like we opened up this episode with. Opportunity to end the season on a high note, going into the bowl season and push forward, man. So with that, I think we've hit on just about everything we need to hit on today, David. And so thank you all for joining us on Hawk Talk. It's been a pleasure bringing this show to you, and we'll continue to bring it to you. So thank you. God bless, and go Hawks.
Go Hawks.